All right, I'm gonna run through how to get this thing set up, and then how to use it if you need to turn it on, how to check the oil, add gas, all that stuff. So these are just kind of the steps that I ran through to get it going, and then the things to check while you're using it. Really all you need is a Phillips head screwdriver. When you pick this thing up, the battery is not going to be connected, so you just open the little battery compartment right here. This comes off. You pull this down, and then if you pull it like this, your battery's going to come out. Once you get it out, you got to reach up in here and find the positive and negative cables that are up there. It comes with a little bag of connectors, so all you do is pull this out and then connect each cable, screw those in, and once they're tight, slide the battery back up in there, connect the holder back up, and you're good to go on the battery, and that'll let you use the electric start feature. All right, next thing you want to check is the oil level. So this right here is your oil access cover right here. Pull that off right there. I'm looking in here, that's your dipstick right there. To check the oil level, just reach in there and start unscrewing that. And once the dipstick's loose, pull that out. And then here it is looking at it. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you're looking for the shiny part. Where on this dipstick, you know, what part of it is wet. Another trick is to lay it flat on a paper towel, fold it over on it, and then you fold it back and you can see that it's wet to about right here. So that's about halfway. On this one, you got the low level down there, high level up here. You want it right in the middle, so that's perfect. But after you pull it out, wipe it clean, make sure there's no dirt, paper towel residue on there, and then you just screw it back in. To check the level, if you're putting it in, screw it in until you start feeling a little resistance, and then pull it out. That way you get a more accurate reading. So there it is again, still right there about halfway. That means you're doing pretty good. If it's low, then you're gonna need to add some oil. It comes with a funnel right here. Just line it up in there, stick it down in, and there you go. From here, you just add some 10W30. So this is good to have on standby. If it's at the low level, this was at the low level when I first picked it up, best to add probably about 2 ounces at a time. So look at the little side gauge over here, 2 ounces, and then pull this out. Anytime you pull these funnels out, definitely make sure you have that rag underneath, because even after you let it sit for 10 seconds or so, it's going to be dripping out the bottom. And I normally wrap these and set them to the side, and then go in, check the level, see where I'm at. If I need to add more, stick this back in there, add some more, pull it back out until we get to a good level. Make sure that's on there tight. You really just need about hand tight. It's probably good practice to check the oil level every time you shut this thing off and before you start it up again. The instructions say to do it every 8 hours of use. Gas right here. Basically the level is up to that red tab in there. So you want to fill it up until you see the gas level even with that tab, and that's how you know it's full. Don't take this screen out, this little mesh strainer, because it's really hard to get back in. This model's a 3500. It holds 2.6 gallons, but there's no gas gauge on it, so you kind of just have to give it your best guess. If you're getting it set up for long-term storage or to be ready to go when you pull it out, use some of this stuff stable. This will make sure your gas doesn't go bad and it can sit in here for months at a time without needing to drain it or anything like that. So with the gas level full and your oil level good, you can go on to start it. The main thing, you want to make sure that your ESC throttle, it's like a efficiency control, you want to make sure that's off. Okay. Now if you're starting from a cold start, you're going to turn this knob slow over here to start with the choke on. From there, you're going to hold down the starter button for 3 seconds. I've had this thing running recently and it's still warm, I can feel it. So I'm going to go to the run/restart mode right here. If you start this on choke, it'll run rough at first. Make sure that you turn this slow once it is running, and it'll kind of smooth out in the run restart mode right here. I'm just going to use electric start and hold it. There we go. You can hear it kind of even out there. And what you're looking for is this output button to turn green. It's giving out 12.4 volts, so that's good. let it run for about 5 minutes right here before you start plugging stuff in. Now the ESC mode on here, you can use that basically to save fuel if you have a low load on it. So if you have a really low load, not much plug in, if you're just charging your phone or something, switch this on and it'll run at a lower speed. It's just saving some fuel right there. You want to make sure not to run it over 25 amps. So this button, push that, you'll see amps right there. It's 0 because nothing's plugged in. That's where you're going to see if it's 25 amps. One thing that will help too is if you go down, there's the hour right here. It's 0 hours because this thing's brand new. But then there's another hour right there that basically tells you the elapsed time that it's been running. So you can kind of guess based off of that where your fuel level's at. And it's rated for 25% load to do 11 hours. So if this is 10 hours, you can say, all right, I need to add some more fuel. Now for the pull start, this might just be easier, or if you're having to start and stop a lot, you don't want to wear the battery out. Pull start, same thing. You're going to select whichever mode you need. Restart for if it's warm, if you're restarting it, or turn it all the way down here to choke if you're starting it for the first time. Especially if you're starting for the first time, pull this through, you'll feel it, some resistance here, pull through all that slow. If it's the first time, give it another little pull, just get everything spinning, get some fuel to the carburetor. Sorry, one last tip. Disconnect everything that you have plugged in before you shut this thing off. So unplug it all, no load on the generator, and then shut it off. All right, that's the very, very basics of this thing right here. For the rest of the video, I'm gonna show you how to use a few different types of gas cans right here for when you add gas to it. All right, so here's the first one. It's a pretty basic type. Basically, you gotta click this red tab in, just like that. And then from here, you're able to move this nozzle up and down, and it's got to be in like that to be able to flow fuel through it. If these things sit out in the sun or go through temperature changes, especially if they're not completely full of gas, they'll build pressure inside of them and expand or contract. If it's expanded at all, or really just a safety precaution, point this away from your face when you first open it, any gas can, because it may have pressure behind it and shoot out the top. So with it held like that, I would recommend taking a rag, just because these leak sometimes. Taking a rag and holding that down, and then from here you can pour and add your gas. Probably gonna leak, and you'll pull this rag off and it'll be all over in here. If you leave it out in the sun for a little bit, it'll evaporate. And this one here is a little bit easier to use because it's the push button type. So you got the safety thing on here, take that off, and then same thing, let the air bleed, a little puff, let the gases escape, and then basically hold this thing upside down or to pour, and then to let the gas come out, push in this green button and it'll start flowing. And that's all there is to this one. For pretty much any of these cans, there's going to be these ridges right here on the neck. Just push those in, and that lets you start twisting it, and then it'll loosen up for you to take off. Now here's the last type, which is actually pretty similar to that first one. This system is what they use on roto packs, if you're familiar with that. Basically on this one, the nozzle is turned around inside of the can right now. Push this tab down, spin it out, you'll hear that pressure release. Take this off, take that red cap off, and then here's your nozzle right here. So pull that out, slide it through the screw cap right there, and then now you gotta set that on, screw it down, and there you go. Now it operates the same as that first one with the click button. You click in, and you push it in, and that lets the gas flow. And you can leave these sitting just like this if you want, but they're designed to be stored a little bit more compact. Take this off. This goes back into the strainer right there. Red cap goes on to keep it clean. And we screw it back down. There you go. Last thing, you can put pretty much any type of gas in here except for E85, up to 10% ethanol, but you can put Supreme, regular, whatever. probably the best for it is actually the no ethanol, if you can find that, especially if you're going to store it. If you're using it pretty regularly, then just regular gas is fine, but no ethanol, best for storage.